The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host, whose information will be provided upon request.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy Shane Captive from the No BS No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show. I'm back in the building as usual. It's what we do. Now, we're gonna get straight to it this morning because there's gonna be a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about, and not to mention, I want people to understand that there are a lot of things that I want people to freak out about because a lot has happened within the past 48 hours. That I want people, and I don't want people to freak out about, but we're gonna really jump into discussion today. So, the number to call this morning is 301-429-9247. Be ready, get your coffee, make your breakfast, get your waffles, your eggs, all that good stuff. Okay. So, we're gonna take a look at the topics right above. So I want people to go ahead and take a look at that. So the first thing is that we're gonna talk about is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the XFL. We're going to talk about how successful it is, but we're also going to talk about something else, which is some breaking news. And then we're going to talk about some March Madness, some NBA, and we're going to talk about the Redskins. So we're going to have a great discussion about all four of those today in this early morning. So with that being said, I want people to know that it's real. So let's go ahead and jump into the topics. So the first one we're going to talk about the XFL. So the XFL right now, everybody I know has been asking me, is it more successful than the AAF? I can most certainly tell you, I believe it is. So, I have to wonder, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the situation. It's been real. Because the XFL has proven that they got some good players. It's proven that excuse me. It's also proven that there's a lot of different there's a lot of different teams, a lot of names that we all remember, such as Cardale Jones, Pep Hamilton. We have a few people that that we all remember, and the great thing is there's games every weekend. Saturday and Sunday, okay? So for today's matchup, you're going to see the Seattle Dragons versus the Houston Roughnecks, and then you'll see the New York Guardians versus the Dallas Renegades. So you're going to see those games today, and then tomorrow you see the St. Louis Battlehawks, and then they're going to see the DC Defenders for a home game tomorrow if you're in the DC area, and then for the Sunday night game, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Vipers versus the LA Wildcats. So that's going to be those games will be played this weekend. However, I do have to talk about this because it's been on a lot of people's minds. So breaking news, and this is from CNN that a CenturyLink employee out in Seattle was diagnosed with the coronavirus. So that has been confirmed. That person has been diagnosed with the coronavirus, but that does not mean that the games won't go on. But they will be taking precautions to protect people, health wise, protect the players, and also the fans that come to the games. And And a source out west is a source very close to to the Dragons has confirmed that they are going to be taking very extreme measures if need be, if possible, might have to cancel games if they need to. Doesn't mean that this is going to happen. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just simply saying that it is on the table and it is being considered. So these are just some of the things that we have to discuss because of the fact that the coronavirus has been spreading. What is it? A little bit worldwide so far. So we have to discuss that. So I tell the people is this you just take precautions as necessary because it is possible, that somebody could contract the virus. And take measures if need be. Does not mean that you're gonna contract the virus. It just means that there is a chance. So be safe out there. And don't be afraid. I would not worry too much unless the CDC comes out and says there's a very grave and serious situation where they might have to consider taking more extreme measures in order to protect the public from the spread of the virus. As media journalists, just be mindful. Just make sure that you're getting the correct information regarding the situation because it is a rough time for a lot of people and a rough time for all of us regarding this pandemic, possibly. So, with that being said, going back to the XFL. So, regarding the XFL, so far this league has definitely been more successful than the AAF. Reason why? Because the AAF didn't even make it through a whole season, and we're already in week 5 for the XFL, and it's looking like honestly. From the way things are going, especially since there's a lot of viewership. I mean, the viewership has been very very steady. Some stadiums have sold out at some of those in some of the games, so which is very very good for this league considering there's only 8 teams. I mean, as this league expands, obviously there's going to be as the league expands, there'll obviously be more games. More games means more teams and it'll be a lot more competitive. So now there's 10 weeks in this season, so we got 5 more weeks to go. We only got 5 more weeks to go we'll get through March, then we'll get through April, and then they'll end it in May, and then next thing you know, we'll focus on the NBA playoffs at that point. In May, going into June, and then obviously we'll be right back to the NFL in late July because of the fact that in July that's when training camp starts, and then of course we'll have our first preseason games in August. However, there's a CBA dispute going in the NFL, so we'll see how that goes. But now for today's matchups, you got Seattle at Houston. They'll be playing on ABC. So if anybody wants to watch that game will be on ABC at 2:00 this afternoon. For anybody who's going to watch the New York Guardians and the Dallas Renegades, that game is going to be on Fox at 5:00. Two exciting games to watch. So I would everybody get ready for those. And the thing is right now, both of those teams are 2-2, so we're gonna see like who's gonna be who's gonna come out with the W in this game and who's gonna drop. Somebody might drop. We don't know who it's gonna be, but my money honestly is gonna be on Houston taking this L because I think the Dragons are gonna have something to prove right now. They're gonna be playing for the fans in Seattle, considering the situation with the employee who contracted the virus. So I'm pretty sure the Dragons are going to want to play hard. And as far as the New York Guardians, I got them beating the Dallas Renegades. I just don't see how the Renegades are going to win this one. I think the Renegades have a good team, but nonetheless, we'll see what happens, because stat wise, it's been very, very, interesting this season. It's been very, very interesting. Mainly because right now in passing yards for the Houston Renegades, that passing attack is crazy. PJ Walker has 987 yards. He's leading the league right now in passing yards. Now, rushing yards, that's going to be the Tampa Bay Vices. That's De'Veon Smith and Jacquizz Patrick. They both, De'Veon Smith has 296 yards rushing and 231 yards rushing for Jacquizz Patrick. So, but right now, let's look at the Guardians. So the Guardians right now, I've been saying this for the longest. They're gonna have something to prove today. And for the Dallas Renegades, Landry Jones. Now I know a lot of people know that name. Landry Jones used to be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's obviously because he didn't really get a chance in Pittsburgh, mainly because Ben Roethlisberger is still there. So that's a name that everybody could look forward to. So with that being said, I would just go on to say that that people got to understand this. They're just gonna have to look out for that pass rush from New York. Okay, so New York right now, they have three guys that that are tied for second place for sacks, but the leading the league in sacks is Kayvon Walker. He's at 2.5 sacks this season. Wes Sutton has 2 sacks, and Jarrell Owens, he also has 2 sacks for the New York Guardians. So those are the 3 guys. Watch out for them. That pass rush is going to be very, very interesting. Now for Houston, that passing attack is going to be that pass defense is going to be very interesting, because both of their DBs are up there in interceptions. So Dietrich Nichols has 3 interceptions on the season, and then Cody Brown, he has 2 interceptions on the season. So we're gonna see how this pans out. Okay, he's got 23 tackles on the season, 6 feet tall, 206 pounds. Went to Arkansas State. Wears number 25 for the Houston Roughnecks. And then and the thing is in his last game, okay, he did pretty well. He had 3 tackles and 1 interception and 1 pass defense in that last game against the Dallas Renegades. So the Roughnecks are gonna look to try to get this win over the Seattle Dragons. Now, I don't see it, because I feel like the Dragons are gonna throw all over them. But now for the Guardians, on the other hand, they're gonna have they're gonna have a little bit of something to prove. Mainly because because the truth is with the New York Guardians, excuse me, I'm sorry. What it comes down to with the New York Guardians is going to come down to this: what these guys are capable of. What can they prove? Now their head coach is Kevin Gilbride. Now, if anybody knows Kevin Gilbride, he definitely used to coach in the NFL for a little while as an offensive coordinator for a long time. But now he's a head coach and GM for the New York Guardians. Okay, he's got a lot of guys that that some of us know from the NFL, and then some of us don't know him. Like, for example, Demetrius Cox. Demetrius Cox definitely played in the NFL for a little while. Played at Michigan State. Now he's a safety, 6 feet tall, 196 pounds. So, it's going to be very interesting to watch. So there's a lot of guys that we could look forward to. But the guy that I really want people to pay attention to, since they have him, is Matt McGloin. Matt McGloin, everybody knows, used to play for the Raiders. Everybody knows Matt McGloin. Now, he's not the biggest guy. He's only 6'1", 200 pounds. He's not the biggest quarterback, but he definitely is an NFL ready. So the truth is with this team is they played, and on top of that, They didn't exact. This season so far has been, quite interesting. They've been able to, get things done. But it's just that they've had a little bit of luck, and then now here's the thing I will say to this. Right now on Saturday, what everybody needs to look forward to is look for a lot of defense in these games. Look for a lot of defense, especially with the 8 teams that the 8 teams that are playing this weekend. The Guardians are going to probably play a lot of good defense, and so ain't the Renegades. So don't look for a lot of high scoring in the Dragons and Roughnecks game and the Renegades and Guardians game. Now the Battlehawks and the defenders, I'm pretty sure they're going to have offense to speak of, because Pep Hamilton is an offensive genius. He you saw what he did in the NFL with the Indianapolis Colts. He's definitely going to be looking to score a lot of points in this game. And he has more than one way to skin this team. So with that being said, it's quite fun, and it's going to be quite interesting, and we've got a lot of guys to look forward to. Now, I'm going to take a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. When I come back, we're going to talk about some more sports this morning. So don't go anywhere. The No BS Show.
Sports is what we do. It's the fast track at peak speed, moving across the ice, blockers, hitters, B-team, beatdowns, and knockouts, doubleheaders, playoffs, touchdowns, smackdowns, on the mat or on the track. The spirit of a champion. The triple-double. Make that double front flip. This is what we do.
State and local government exercise very important functions in the United States. They are responsible for creating state legislation, which can become state law. They plan and pay for roads, run public schools, parks and libraries, provide water and utilities, and organize law enforcement, elections, and much more. As citizens, local government is more easily obtainable and are the means in which we communicate to the federal government. This is why it is important that we vote in more than just primary presidential elections. Midterm and local elections are just as, if not more, important for our communities and its efficiency. Resistance is local. Criminal justice reform is local. Gentrification is local. And the right to vote is a privilege that once was not granted to all citizens because of their gender, race, or ethnicity. So today, we are all afforded this right, and we should vote at every given opportunity, simply because we can. Early voting is October 25th through November 1st, and the official midterm election date is November 6th. For more information on voting in poll areas, please visit the link below.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it again. So, here's the thing, right? I want people to understand this. I want people to understand like exactly how this is going to be probably the most interesting thing that everybody sees. So, excuse me. So, what people got to understand is this, right? The truth is, March Madness is here. It's about time, right? So, since it's here, I want people to know this, and I want people to understand something very, very clearly. And I want people to understand how serious it's about to get. Right now, as far as March Madness is concerned, this is going to be a wild games to watch. Obviously, 68 teams. 68 different teams in men's basketball, 68 teams in women's basketball. Now, for the women, it's going to be quite interesting because we just saw that Michigan had upset the Northwestern Wildcats. I still don't know how that happened, but that's neither here nor there. And so everybody can start to make their brackets. Start getting your brackets ready. I'm talking about this early because I'm going to run down the schedule so that way everybody understands. So Selection Saturday will be March 15th. March 15th. That is 1 week. Okay, that is 1 week from, actually 8 days from today. That will be on 6 o'clock on CBS. Okay? This is straight from the NCAA.com website. Then the first 4, Tuesday and Wednesday, March 17th and 18th. Then after that, it'll be the tournament first round. Okay? That'll be March 19th and March 20th. That's Thursday and Friday. Tournament second round will be March 21st and the 22nd. Then it'll be the Sweet 16 on the 26th and the 27th. Then March 28th and March 29th. That will be Elite 8. That would be the Elite 8. Then the Final 4 will be Saturday, April 4th. And then the NCAA Championship game will be that Monday on April 6th. Okay? So, with that being said, we're going to discuss this early just because, like I said, the standings right now, it's looking real interesting because there are so many teams that have a lot of losses this year. A lot of teams got losses this year. There's not a single, there's only a few teams that are undefeated right now, okay? In their conference, but not overall, okay? Now, as far as undefeated in the conference, I'm going to throw this one out at you. Dayton, I don't know what it is with this team. They are on an 18-game win streak. Undefeated in their conference. They've beaten everybody in their conference the way they're supposed to. They're 27-2, okay? They look very good. Now, Duquesne, St. Louis, 20-8, 21-8. But those teams are not going to be... I don't see those teams getting in. They might find a way to be in the 4 in the first round of 4, but I don't see how they're gonna get like deep in the NCAA tournament. But Dayton most certainly is like they're just rolling 27-2. But the team to watch out for, especially in the ACC, 4 teams actually: Virginia, UVA, the Cavaliers who won an NCAA championship last year, Duke, Florida State, and Louisville. Now, Louisville is 24-6. They're 15-4 in the conference. Right now, they're a half game ahead of Florida State in the conference because Florida State is 14-4. In the conference? The reason why they're a half game, because everybody got to remember, Louisville played one more game than the Seminoles did. So let's keep that in mind. So, but they're on a 1-game win streak. Now, then let's look at the Big 12. Big 12, Kansas and Baylor. They're gonna be battling it out for that division. But it looks like Kansas might find a way to pull away in this one because they're 26-3. Baylor's 25-3, but they are 14-2 in the conference, whereas Kansas is 15-1 in the conference. But I can tell you right now, Kansas, after what I saw a couple of nights ago, yeah, I can tell you right now, Kansas is probably gonna. They're well on their way to probably winning this whole thing, unless they find a way to lose within the Sweet 16, which I don't foresee happening. I think that Kansas is probably going to run the table in the NCAA tournament this year. Now, I'm going to look at some of your smaller divisions. Let's look at some of the smaller divisions. So let's look at the Big South. That's like Winthrop, Gardner-Webb, and all those teams. So right now, Winthrop is 21-10. They are 15-3 in the conference. But Radford University, right here is in Virginia, they are 20-10, 15-3 in the conference. So right now, they're doing pretty well. I'm gonna throw out an HBCU with you guys, so that way people understand that it's been really interesting. So the Hampton University used to be in the MEAC. They're no longer in the MEAC. They are in the Big South Conference. Now they're 13-18. I mean, they're not really the greatest team, but they're doing better than what most people expected them to do. So and they're in a very tough, it's a competitive division. So we're gonna see how that goes. I think that's going to be a division to watch. But the sleeper team I've got this year, and everybody's going to call me crazy, is the University of Maryland. They're 23-6 overall. They lost their last game, but they are 13-5 in the conference. Anthony Cowan Jr., I like the way that kid's been playing. They've been playing playing well. I like the way Maryland is looking. I think they're gonna give a lot of people problems in this particular tournament this year. I don't foresee them getting past the Sweet 16, but I do believe they will make it there. They will most certainly make it there, because right now the Big Ten is the most competitive division in basketball. Okay, let's look at the teams. Okay, Ohio State 20-9, Iowa 20-9, Penn State 21-8. It's prime time, baby. This is what it is. Okay, Michigan State is 20-9, Illinois is 20-9. Okay. You got a lot of teams in this division that is highly competitive. So you got at least 6 teams that have 20 wins. You got a lot of teams in this division that got at least 20 wins. A lot of these teams will probably make the tournament. So this is really good. Now, UC Irvine, we're going to go over to the Big West. Big West right now, 21-10. UC Irvine, 13-2 in the conference. They've already ran away with this division. They'll probably round it up to 4. If not, they'll just be seeded just because of the fact that they found a way to get themselves in. Now, in the Colonial Athletic, now this is like, your Drexels of the world, Northeastern University, the Huskies, in Boston, Delaware, Towson University right here in Maryland. But William and Mary, Hofstra, right now they're the top 2 of the division. Okay, Hofstra is 14-4. They're 23-8 in the conference. They're on a 1-game win streak. Now, but the team that I think they have to pay attention to, this is a sleeper team, William and Mary. William and Mary is on a 5-game win streak. They're probably going to battle it out for this division if they have a tournament. And with that being said, I'm pretty sure that William and Mary might find a way to pull this out. And if they do, then they'll probably represent the Colonial Athletic Conference in the NCAA tournament. Now we're going to look at Conference USA. Conference USA, there's not too many teams that really jump out at me, but I'm going to tell you the 2 teams that do jump out at me is North Texas, they're 20-10, and then we're going to look at Louisiana Tech at 20-8. Right now, in North Texas, they on a 2-game win streak. They're 14-3 in the conference. But Louisiana Tech, even though they're 11-5 in the conference, they have 20 wins and only 8 losses, okay? They're not doing so bad, but they can find a way to get in there. Then the Horizon Conference, you got Wright State, 25-6. You also got Northern Kentucky at 21-9. So with those teams, you got to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that these teams are going to be looking to do some craziness. So let's keep that in mind. And then I do foresee them going pretty far, but we'll see what happens. Now, let's look at the Ivy League. Now, for you Ivy Leaguers out there, that includes your Columbias, your Cornells, Dartmouth, Brown, Pennsylvania, Princeton, Harvard, and Yale. Now, Harvard and Yale, right now, they're going to battle it out for the division, because Harvard right now is on a 6-game win streak, 9-3 in the conference. They're 20-7. But Yale is 22-6. They're 22-6 in the overall. They're 10-2 in the conference. I don't foresee them getting past the first round. If everybody's asking me to be honest, I don't foresee Yale getting past the first round. Neither do I see Harvard. But they might surprise me. They might surprise me just because of the fact that, you just never know. And that's the reason why we call it March Madness. Because we have no idea who's going to come out of these divisions. Now, there's some teams you just know, they're probably going to dominate. Look at Kansas. We already know they're going to dominate. That's very obvious, okay? Now, in the Metro Athletic Conference, nobody really, I'm just going to be frank, nobody's really going to pay attention to this division, because none of these teams are going to get past the first round. Just none of them. But Siena right now, they're on a 7-game win streak, 17-10. They have the best record in the division. They're 13-5 in the conference. But they're not getting past the first round, so nobody's going to worry about them. Akron and Bowling Green, they're 12-4 in the conference. They're going to battle it out. Akron, though, has a 1-game stretch over Bowling Green, because they are 22-7 and Bowling Green is 21-8. So they're going to battle it out for that division. So we'll see what happens with that. Now for the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Now, I love the our historically black colleges in this division. All of them are usually competitive, but to be frank, none of these teams are going anywhere. None of these teams are going anywhere. None of them are going to get past the first round, but it'll be good for them to at least make the tournament. So, right now, with that being said, I'm going to look at 5 different teams. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the records are all over the place. So, let's start with North Carolina A&T. Right now, they're 11-3 in the conference, 15-14. Now, the MEAC always has a tournament, so those teams are going to have to run off to the tournament anyway. So, then North Carolina Central, they're 15-13. They're on a 3-game win streak. They're 11-3 in the conference as well. Norfolk State is 14-15. Florida A&M is 12-14. Bethune-Cookman is 15-13. Now, my alma mater the Morgan State University is 15-15 in the conference. Their leading scorer has the most points in school history, okay? And what kills me about this whole division, because everybody else is just not that great, because Coppin State, they're 10-20, but I won't be surprised though, because we've seen Coppin State do this. They actually were the only team in NCAA history, Coppin State, to actually make the tournament with a losing record. I'm not saying that that's great. I'm just saying that they made history. So, and what people gotta understand is, what it comes down to is this. In this division, in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, okay? Now, the leading scorer right now for Morgan State is Stanley Davis. This young man has been killing. He's averaged a lot. There's a lot of points so far. According to ESPN, and this young man has over 1,000 career points. With that and he was able to get that over Delaware as a Delaware State. He became the 28th player in Morgan State history to score 1,000 points in his career. But we will see what happens with Morgan State, and we're going to keep an eye on that here at WBGR Sports. But with respect to the other teams in the conference, I mean, Maryland, Eastern Shore, they're not even going to remotely be in it. It isn't in the tournament because I hate to say this, they're 5-24. Delaware State's 4-24, and Howard, well, obviously, they're the trash of the division. I mean, they're 0-14 in the conference. They're 2-27 overall. Nobody cares about Howard University at this point. They've lost 17 straight games. There's just no way. It is what it is. If I'm Howard University's athletic director, I'm sorry, the head coach, he's probably going to be fired on Monday after the season's over, which is what I like to call Black Monday. So I don't see that guy being there too long, just because of the fact that there's no reason why he should be 2-27 in a division that, to me, is really not as competitive as some of the other divisions in college basketball. Now we're going to go over to the Missouri Valley. Northern Iowa 25-5, Loyola Chicago 21-10. For anybody up in the Illinois area. But let's go over to the West. San Diego State 28-1. That's utterly ridiculous. But I will say this: they haven't really played anybody that made me be like, "Oh my God, San Diego State is like great." But they're 28-1. Can't take that away from them. They're 17-1 in the conference. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure that they're going to pull this out. Now, for the Northeast Conference, Merrimack is 20-11, best conference record. They'll probably pull that out of that division. Now, the division that I think is going to be probably the most competitive is Ohio Valley, because Murray State is 22-8. and Belmont is 24-7. Highly competitive division. Pac-12. There's a couple of teams that I think everybody got to pay attention to in this position, in this division. First team you definitely got to pay attention to is the UCLA Bruins. They got their ninth. They may be 19-11, but I'm pretty sure they could get 2 more wins in their last few games. And then once they get a couple more wins, they'll be in the 20-win column. And then that'll be very competitive in that division because then they're going to battle it out with Oregon, Colorado, USC, and Stanford. I'm pretty sure it's going to get real competitive because Arizona this year, 19-10, I don't trust them to go very far this year like they did in years past. I don't trust them to go that far. In the Patriot League, Colgate is running away with it, 23-8. BU is trailing behind by 5 games, so don't see them doing too much. Now in the SEC, highly competitive division to watch. But the team to watch, obviously, Kentucky. Kentucky's been competitive for years. They're 14-2. As a Coach Calipari has always had those boys going. This is no surprise, ladies and gentlemen. We already know that those Kentucky boys always find a way to win games. That's what it is. LSU, on the other hand, is 20-9. I'm pretty sure those guys are going to come there. And breaking news coming out of that, this was definitely announced a couple of weeks ago, but I want people to understand. Shaq's son, Sharif O'Neal, will be joining as at LSU, not this season, but next season. So LSU, they have something to look forward to. So even if they don't go that far this year, they will probably be competitive next season with Shaq's son. And if he plays up to the hype of who he is and then being trained by his father, I am almost certain that the LSU Tigers are most certainly going to run the table in college basketball. Auburn right now, they're 24-5. Let's be real. Coach Pearl Auburn is they're just good. They're just good. But again, 11-5 in the conference though. They'll beat teams outside of their division, but in their division they kind of struggle a little bit even though they're 11-5. But they have to beat those top tier teams in their division because let's be honest, Mississippi State, Florida, right now they ain't no slouches. So that's what it comes down to. Okay. Let's go to the Southern Conference. East Tennessee State 27-4, but Furman is 25-6, and then you get University of North Carolina Greensboro 23-8. So be mindful of watching those teams. Stephen F. Austin is 26-3, 17-1 in the conference. They'll run away with that division. Okay. Now the Southwestern Athletic Conference, that's the SWAC HBCU division. Okay. Now this division is a little bit more competitive than the MEAC. Okay. Prairie View A&M 17-11, 13-2 in the conference. Texas Southern, they're 14-14, so they're gonna try to have to shake things up. But Grambling State, probably a team to watch in that division because of the fact that they have to do a tournament. 15-13 in their division and 9-6 in the conference, but they won their last 2 games. By Prairie View A&M, they won their last 7. Now, if you play for Southern, don't fret because of the fact that you guys are 14-15. You are 11-5 in the conference, so that says that you can beat teams in your division. You're just having struggles outside of your division, and that's where it comes down to. So you had 10 games that were non-conference games that you lost because you have 5 of your losses come from the conference. So you're on a 5-game win streak. The season is not over yet. You can still win over 17 games, possibly 18, depending on how many games you got left in your schedule. You win those games, you give yourself a shot in the tournament for the SWAC, and then you might have a shot at getting the NCAA tournament. I'm not saying it's very much possible. It's definitely in play. Now, the Summit League. North Dakota State and South Dakota State, they're both going to run the table. It is what it is. We'll see if they make it to the 4, though. The Sun Belt, Arkansas, Little Rock, 21-9. Texas State, 20-10. West Coast. Now, this is obvious. Gonzaga is 29-2. BYU's 24-7, and St. Mary's 24-7. Those 3 teams, I'm pretty sure they'll make the tournament. Western Athletic Conference, hands down, New Mexico State, 15-0 in the conference, 24-6 overall. They only lost 6 non-conference games. They're on an 18-game win streak. They're gonna run the table. That's what I got for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. You've heard it first on No BS. So the teams that I got going to the Final Four. I've got Kansas making it to the Final Four. Okay? I've got Kansas making it to the Final Four. I also have Kentucky making it to the Final Four. I've got University of Maryland making it to the Final Four. I know some people are going to think I'm crazy. I'm not so sure. I know I said earlier they might not make it past 16, but I'm going to change that. I have faith in these boys. I think they're going to make it to the Final Four, and then they'll stop there. And then that'll be the end of that. But they'll make it to the Final Four. They have the team. They've got the shooters. They can play the defense. They got it. But a sleeper team that I think is going to get to the Final Four, but nobody's talking about them, is Villanova. Villanova is 22-7, 11-5 in the conference. And now, they still got to compete with Creighton and Seton Hall. But I'm almost certain that Villanova is going to find a way to get there. So those are my teams, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be really fun and interesting. Baylor, I feel like they're going to drop out in the Sweet 16. I feel like that's what's going to happen because they haven't what I like to call the Cinderella season because nobody cared about these boys last year. All of a sudden, they decided to show up this year, so that's what it is. You've heard it first on No BS Show. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be prime time basketball, baby. Get ready. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, I got some more stuff to talk to you guys about, so don't go anywhere on the No BS Show.
Everybody, I'm here at Bowie State University representing for WBGR. We're here to see if some of these college students know their breakfast trivia. Do you know your cereal? So I'm here in the student center with a couple of students. How y'all feeling? Good. So I want to test y'all knowledge on breakfast trivia. Y'all ready? Yeah. All right, so the first one is finish the slogan. I'm cuckoo for
Cocoa Puffs.
All right, silly rabbit. Tricks of the kids. 2 scoops of. Comes in a purple box, sunshine on it.
Raisin bread.
They're magically delicious.
Wait,
Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms.
All right. Snap, crackle, pop. Rice Krispies. Yep. Kid tested, mother approved.
Oh, I don't know. Not a mom.
Whose mascot is a tiger?
Flakes. No. Yes. What you saying?
Mascot is a toucan bird. Whose mascot is Fred Flintstone?
Fruity Pebbles.
The taste you can see.
Taste you can see.
No one sounds familiar.
The taste you can see.
The taste you can see.
Oh, that's what is that?
Oh, you phoning a friend? Here you got a phone. Which one of these cartoons was not made into a cereal? You got 3 choices. A, Donkey Kong. B, Pokemon. C, SpongeBob. SpongeBob. Trick question, they all were. Oh wow.
What?
I never seen no SpongeBob cereal. Kid tested, mother approved.
Checks. No. Kicks.
Yup, you got it. Some of these college students definitely know their trivia. It was fun interviewing them to see what their knowledge was. Hopefully next time we can get a couple of more students at some other schools and test their knowledge. Do you know your cereals?
All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. So, NBA standings, we're going to have a deep discussion about this really quickly. This has been quite an interesting basketball season. I'm going to explain why. With respect to Kobe Bryant, and we saw how the Lakers responded since his death. They've won their last in their last 10 games. They went 9-1. They responded. They had won their last 3 because they did suffer a loss within the past couple of weeks. They're 25-6 away. They're 23-7 at home. Now, I always say this to people: when a team has a low amount of losses, you want to see where they're the weakest. I'm going to say this, and everybody's going to think I'm crazy. your best bet to beat the Lakers is to beat them in their own house, because it doesn't seem like they too good at home. They're very great away. They're very great on the road. They're just not that good at home. They're just not get that good at home. So, 23-7 at home, 25-6 away. Clippers are right behind them. They're 18-13 away, so they're just not a good road team. They're an amazing home team, though, 25-6. That's why I'm going to pick, and everybody's going to say I'm crazy for this, but I'm like, this is going to happen whether people want to admit it or not. The Clippers and the Lakers are probably going to see each other in the Western Conference Championship, and the truth is neither team's going to have to go anywhere because they play in the same stadium. Neither team's going to really have to go anywhere. So, whenever somebody has a home game, I guess that's just what it is. They're just going to be there. Like, they're not going to have to go anywhere. For the players, they can just go right home and then come right back, because the game's right there. They both play in the same stadium, so they don't have nothing to worry about. So, that's what's going to happen. Especially since, and I know a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy for saying this, Joakim Noah just signed with the Clippers on a 10-day contract because they want to see how his physical looks. Now, if Joakim Noah plays up to strength after playing only 42 games last year for the Grizzlies, what's going to happen is I firmly believe that if he plays the way I expect Joakim Noah to play, it's going to be a long day for everybody in the Western Conference to stop the LA Clippers. It's going to be a long day because you're going to have Kawhi Leonard, you're going to have Paul George, you're going to have Patrick Beverley, you're going to have a lot of defense, and on top of that, you definitely going to have some offense. I mean, they're just picking up guys off the street. Doc Rivers, to me, hands down to me right now, outside of Coach Pop, because right now the Spurs are not doing too well, outside of Coach Pop, right now, is the best coach in the Western Conference right now. Period. And period? No, there's no argument there. If somebody wants to argue with me, the number to call is going to be 301-429-9247. That's going to be the number to call. You are welcome to call me and debate me, but I can tell you right now, you're probably going to lose this argument. But hey, go ahead and give me a call. I'm right here. So go ahead and let me know in the comment section too. I want to hear what you guys got to say. So right now the LA Lakers, obviously, they're killing because Anthony Davis is doing his thing. You've got LBJ, LeBron James. I mean, that team was, I hate to say it, was expected to do well, but I'm not convinced that they're going to win it all. I'm not convinced because there's still too many other teams to me that are just better. There's just too many other teams that are better. And I think there's other teams that honestly have given themselves a shot to beat the Lakers. Now, the only good thing is they got on their side is the fact that LeBron James has more playoff experience than any other player in the Western Conference outside of Kawhi Leonard and some of the other teams in the West. So, I mean, right now, let's look at the Rockets. The Rockets right now, they're 39-22. I mean, James Harden and Russell Westbrook, I don't know what it is. Them two got to figure it out. I mean, they're doing not too bad. I mean, they're 21-9 at home, 18-13 away. They're 9 games behind the Lakers, but they lost their last 2 games. I'm just not sure. I don't know what's going on up there, but they got to figure it out. Now, the Utah Jazz, Donovan Mitchell's 40-22. They won their last 4. But I think the sleeper team in the West is definitely the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis, I don't know what it is. It seems like them two, ever since Porzingis came there, he became a rejuvenated man, and now they're playing lights out. And I mean, those two have been playing lights out, and I love the way Luka is doing. And mind you, Luka just celebrated his 21st birthday recently, so happy birthday to him. I wasn't able to get to it, but I'm going to say happy belated. But Luka is really killing out there. And this kid, right now, have fun. Just have fun with it. Because the sky is the limit right now. The sky is the limit. We're going to see what happens with that. Because that kid, 39-25, that is impressive. Now, it's just that he's in the Western Conference. So, he's at the 7th seed right now. Because, unfortunately, he's in a very, very competitive division. And then the Memphis Grizzlies fall in at number 8 at 31-32. Now, the Grizzlies, nobody cares about them because I hate to say it. They don't really have anybody that I'm worth talking about. Then I'm gonna take a look at the Eastern Conference because I want everybody to know this is where I stand. The Milwaukee Bucks are 53-10. Yep, that's cute, but there's still one team that they don't want to see in the playoffs, and they don't want to see the Boston Celtics because for some odd reason, it seems like the Celtics, when they get enough pieces, the Bucks just have a problem beating them. And right now, granted, the Celtics are 42-20. They're 42-20. And, you know, I'm pretty sure they'll get to 50 wins before the end of the season. Because there's only 20 games left. Okay, it's 20 games left. Right now, the Celtics, 23-8 at home. Okay, 23-8 at home, 19-12 on the road. Now, obviously, they're not a good road team. That's very obvious. They're a better home team than they are than they are a road team. So now in their last 10 games they went 5-5. Not so good, and I know why that is because they've had a couple of injuries here and there because Kemba Walker's been in and out in a couple of those games. But Jason Tatum this kid is utterly ridiculous. I mean, we saw what he put up a few nights ago when he dropped 36 points. We all saw that. That kid is on his way. I've been saying this for a long time. I think the biggest thing for him was when he was able to learn from the Black Mamba himself. Once he was able to learn from him, he was able to figure out his game. And now looking at him, this kid is playing like he's not even afraid. He's just playing. He's shooting. He's getting to the basket, playing defense. There's nothing more you can ask from this kid. I mean, because I hate to say this, I love Jaylen Brown. I love Jason Tatum. Gordon Hayward got to go. I don't see how he fits into this offense, and I know that's Brad Stevens' guy. But Gordon Hayward's got to go. I would have been traded that contract a long time ago or released him because he's not the guy that you took over you took from the Jazz. There's nothing. I mean that guy he just needs to go. I mean it is what it is. You know, there's nothing anybody can do about it because you know that team is just not great with him on the floor. I mean, I honestly think he's just wasted space. Now, he'll probably get 10 or 12 points here and there, but he's not a guy that I'm going to expect to drop 20 every night because that was the guy that I thought coming in was going to be that guy because this was a team guy that should have been dropping 20 every game, but it's not happening. So, but right now, the Celtics are the third seed in the East. Now, the Raptors, I thought that they were going to be terrible without Kawhi Leonard, but clearly they said otherwise. They're 30-10 in the conference. 23-9 at home, 21-9 away. And Pascal Siakam and Kyle Lowry, they've just been balling. I mean, they got their ring last year. So, you know, and Kyle Lowry, he had a lot of problems, especially with DeMar DeRozan and that bum. And you see where that bum is right now. He's not doing anything, so it is what it is. But, you know, the Raptors have been doing great. They've been playing great basketball. They've been doing what they're supposed to do, and I like the way they responded to the critics when people tried to make it seem like they wasn't going to do well. And of course, then you got the Bucks. The Bucks have just been. I mean, Giannis is Giannis. Giannis is Giannis. Chris Middleton is Chris Middleton. You know, Bledsoe's Bledsoe. I mean, they're a good team. 53-10. 28-3 at home, 25-7 away. They won 7 out of their last 10 games, but they did lose their last game. But they'll bounce back. I mean, they'll be fine. I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, honestly, this team is, if possible, I don't think this is gonna happen. But they could win if they win their last 19 games, they're gonna finish this season 72-10. I don't see that happening though. Because there's too many teams that they're going to have to face in the coming weeks. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the team they're going to have to face tomorrow, which I think is going to be interesting, they'll face the Suns, they'll beat them. I don't think they're going to have a tough time with the Nuggets because the Denver Nuggets ain't no slouch. And then they got to see Boston. Now Boston has to go to Milwaukee, so the Bucks will probably beat them. beat the Celtics in that game just because they're playing at home. But I can tell you right now, they'll smack the Warriors, they'll smack the Heat, they'll smack the Grizzlies, they'll smack the Wizards, the Pistons. They're gonna have their hands full with the Rockets, though. They'll have their hands full with the Rockets. But those last few games, the game that I think everybody need to watch on April 1st, April 3rd, and April 5th. They got to see the Raptors twice, and then they got to see the Boston Celtics in Boston. In Boston. I don't believe they're going to win that game, so they'll finish with a little over 60-something games this year, but they definitely ain't going to get 72. It's not going to happen. So, with that being said, it is what it is. Now, that's my take, but who I think is going to come out all of these divisions. The Western Conference, I see the Celtics and the Bucks, but I think that the Bucks might, if the Bucks have home court advantage, which I'm pretty sure they will, they'll probably go all the way to the NBA Finals. They'll go all the way to the NBA Finals, and unless the Celtics still won, if they still won in Milwaukee, then the Bucks are not going to the finals. But that's assuming the Celtics run the table, getting all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, in the West, I got the Clippers. I like the Lakers. Don't get it twisted. I love the Lakers, but I don't see how the Lakers beat the Clippers. I just don't. So I got the Clippers going all the way. Period. There's nobody stopping Kawhi Leonard. Now, in the interest of time, because I only got a few minutes left, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about, how about them Redskins? Woo! I just took a DNA test, man. I just found out some interesting stuff about myself when it come to these Redskins. So let's talk about the Redskins. Alright. Ron Rivera has been in the spotlight recently because of this NFL Combine. You know, it has been rumored that the team was considering drafting Tagovailoa from the Alabama Crimson Tide. The truth is I don't see that happening. But if they do that, which I highly doubt, but let's say they do that, I don't understand why would you draft two quarterbacks in the first round within the first 16 picks of the draft. I don't understand the whole point of that. Mainly because Tua, I'm not saying the kid ain't great, but he did get hurt last year, and granted that was, Nick Saban's fault why he got hurt, but that's neither here nor there. But the guy I would definitely draft Chase Young, because you got to shore up that defense. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the main problem for the Redskins, they're going to have to get a new defensive coordinator, though, but they're going to be fine now that they got Ron Rivera, is been the defense. Like, Josh Norman's obviously gone. They got rid of him. It is what it is, right? But then you also look at the pass rush. Last year you drafted Montez Sweat. Not so sure how that's going to work out yet, but we're going to see how that goes. Okay? Then you got Ryan Kerrigan. Don't know how that's going to go. Okay? Then you've got these two monster D tackles in Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. And when we saw what happened when they were both on the field last year, it was ridiculous. It was hard to put a stop to those guys because they're both massive linemen. So since they're massive linemen, nobody can really move them out of the way. It's not going to be that simple. So if you draft Chase Young, you're definitely going to short the pass rush. He's probably going to get at least 12 sacks in his first year. I can see that happening just because you'll have two Alabama D linemen on one as they're playing in the middle, and they're both going to take two. So because you're not going to let them run free. You add in Chase Young to that mix, you short up the D line. The D line is set. Now, as far as your linebackers, you got many linebackers to choose from. You got Ryan Anderson. I don't know why they're not starting him, but that's neither here nor there. I just don't understand this. I don't understand this team sometimes. And as far as the secondary, you got Landon Collins. You got rid of too many guys you shouldn't have got rid of, because you shouldn't have got rid of Bashard Breeland. But look at now. All the Redskins guys that used to play, played for the Redskins. They all went to Kansas City and got themselves a ring. I'm just saying, the Redskins? Y'all got to stop giving away some of your best players, because y'all have a habit of doing that, because you did that with Sean Springs. You saw how that worked out. He went on and had an illustrious career. You did the same thing with Chad Bailey. Look what happened to him. He had an illustrious career with the Denver Broncos. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. That's very obvious. Y'all have a tendency to get rid of guys you just shouldn't get rid of, but you do it. And then guess what? They go get rings, or they at least make the playoffs multiple years on, because obviously y'all haven't made it. So that's neither here nor there. But that's just me. Just, looking at the eye test that tells me every time you keep doing you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And unfortunately, you won a stupid prize last year because 2 of your best players went to the Kansas City Chiefs and they got themselves a Super Bowl ring. But hey, I'm just saying. Just a nod. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure I'll get a phone call later. But just an observation. That's all. Just an observation. So, but like I said, getting back to the Redskins, I'm going to close this out really quickly in the interest of time. The Redskins right now, you're in a prime position. You got the number 2 pick in the draft. You can do whatever you want with that pick, because I hate to say it, when I look at this whole draft, there is a plethora of talent that honestly, if you draft somebody that high, it depends on who they are though. There's a lot of talent in this pool. I like the corners in this draft. I like the receivers in this draft. I like the DBs. I like the linebackers, especially Isaiah from Clemson. I'm trying to tell you that boy is going to be good, but I don't think he should go to the Redskins. I think he should go to the Panthers. I think the Panthers need to trade up, but that's neither here nor there. I'll talk about the draft next week, and I'm going to show you who my draft picks are in each position, and then I'm going to break all that down. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But so, thank you for tuning in this morning, folks. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show this morning. So, I want everybody to go to the Facebook viewer group. I want everybody to go to that. Go to the YouTube page as well. But let's go ahead and look to the Facebook viewer group. No BS, No Holds Barred. Go to the YouTube page right there. No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show. Look at that channel. Look at past shows. And obviously, I'll be uploading some stuff. Look at the blog on Blogger. No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk.blogspot.com. Go to the social media. Insane_Shane29 Underground SB29. Look at the blog. Shares_29. All that good stuff. Look at my advertising, undergroundsportslc@gmail.com. And then, of course, I want you to go to my website, because I have a website, undergroundsportsllc.weebly.com. That is our new website. I want to thank my team for working so hard on this website. So please go ahead and look at that, and look at past shows, look at articles that I posted, and we're going to talk about some stuff, because next week I'm going to bring up some NASCAR, and you're going to see some stuff from that too. So, with that being said, Team No BS, the district, happy Women's History Month, ladies. I want to thank all of my ladies who are in sports, and I want to thank all of the ladies who watch my show. I want to thank all of you for your support, and all of my homegirls. I love all of y'all so much. I want to thank y'all for supporting me over the years and always giving me advice and insight on a lot of different things in my personal life and in my professional life. So I want to thank all of you. But like I said, ladies, thank you so much. Now, getting back to everyone. Team No BS, thank all of you for watching. I am out of the building. Peace.